Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Dorma ITS96 series door closer. That's the business end of the closer. It can be installed like this. It can be installed up like this, and we're going to talk about all that in a moment. The summary of the ITS96 is that it is a concealed door closer. That's what it is. Why would you want a concealed door closer? Well, you don't want to see the hardware when it's installed on the door. It's that simple. Concealed door closers are also less prone to vandalism, things of that nature. A more elegant sort of approach. And the Dorma ITS96 fits that criteria very well. The ITS96 is indeed a concealed door closer. The ITS96 has some optimum sort of features that we're going to go over now. Dorma states in their product catalog that the ITS96 is suitable for practically every type of door material type, wood, aluminum, steel, interior, exterior, a variety of different door sizes. They have what is called an efficient cam and roller design. What that does is the internal makeup of this closer, because of this cam and roller design, allows you to experience a very nice, low pound opening force, but still have the meet the requirements of a door that needs to be actually closed as well. The efficient cam and roller design offsets the mantra, reduced opening force comes with a reduced closing force. This ITS96 works to kind of offset that as well. Rapid decrease in closing force makes the door easy to open, yet provides maximum closing force at the latch. There's a link below this video to the product brochure, and you can review that. Some of the other hallmarks of the ITS96 is that it's non-handed. There's going to be two body types, or two types. There's going to be the ITS96-13. That's going to be for your smaller doors. Doors that are 1 3/4 thick, minimum. Your ITS96-25 is going to be for heavier doors, and we'll talk about those two ranges in a moment. Super important to know is the ITS96-25 is only going to work on 2-inch thick doors. 1 3/4 it's not going to work when the body's in the top of the door. Therefore, the only way to install an ITS96-25 when you've got a heavier door or an exterior door is where the body is up in the header. So do keep that in mind when you are considering this closer. If you've got an exterior door that's 3'6" or 4 foot, the body's got to go in the header unless your door thickness is at least 2-inch. The reasoning is just because we're kind of sliding off that way. The machining requirements to fit the body into the door, it's about 1 9/16 width or 1 5/8. And frankly, that's just too much to fit into the door. At least it is according to Dorma. I've never tried to install it in an 1 3/4 door, but according to the factory, that's how it is. Your ITS96-13, that can go 1 3/4 doors in the top of the door or up in the header. However you're going to install it, that's fine. If you've got a 2.5 1 3/4 thick door, body's got to be up in the header because the track that will easily fit into a 1 3/4 thick door. Now, moving on with some of the other technical details. Suitable for wood, metal, hollow metal, aluminum doors and frames. The ITS96-13 is for interior doors up to 36-inch wide, not to exceed 125 pounds. The 2.5 model is the 2.5 is for interior doors up to 4 foot, okay, not to exceed 175 pounds. And I had said earlier about exterior doors up to 42-inch. I had said exterior doors for up to 3 foot wide only, not to exceed 125 pounds. Exterior doors are known to have static air pressure conditions that will complicate or make more challenging the door closer simply getting the door closed. So that's why there is a gradual step in terms of what is permissible for this closer. Adjustable closing force, I should say adjustable spring force is available on both models. The 1-3 is from size 1 to size 3. That's going to be for smaller doors. 2 to 5 is obvious. 2, 3, 4, and 5, that's all adjustable. That's handled down here on the body. Okay. Positive and minus, that little squiggly line there, that just means spring is all it means. Opening force, 5 pounds or less for the ITS96 1-3 on interior doors. Where door without closer attached is 1 pound opening force or less. So provided that it takes 1 or less pound to open the door when it's not equipped with the closer, with any device, the ITS96 1-3 will comply with a 5 pound rating. And that's important because while that's below ADA compliance for the federal requirement, it's not for California code. California has a lower threshold for compliance. Sweep and latch valve adjustment, easily accessible after installation. That's going to be these two valves right here. 7 degree through 0 degree, or 0 through 7. That's going to be your latch. And then your 120-0, that's your sweep. You can control those independently. You're going to be able to easily get to this from the top of the door, okay, or from the header. The downside really is when you have the door open, when this is installed up in the header, you're going to see this plate. There is no finished plate for this, so do keep that in mind. Okay, maybe not such a big deal, but making note of it. Optional hold open is adjustable from 80 to 120 degree, and we're going to go over the hold open feature when I start to show you all the different parts. Maximum door opening is about 130 degree. Cushioned stop position is adjustable between 80 and 130 degree, and I'm going to show you the cushioned stop position parts, how that all works. Okay. Inverted application available. Consult factory for details. Yeah, we've talked about that. Accessory track brackets available for ease of installation or for frames lacking adequate reinforcement. So obviously, to get the track, if the body's going to be in the door and the track will be up in the header, you've got to reinforce for the track. Okay, you've got to have a piece of welded steel with holes drilled and tapped. You know, if it's aluminum or metal, to accomplish this. They do make track brackets that will slide into each end, allowing you to route the header, fit the entire track with its brackets up. You'll then run screws at either end, and included will be snap covers that will allow you to just simply trim off the look of the closer after it's installed. So it'll look like that on either end. Very nice, finished sort of look. Hallmark of Dorma, nice, finished sort of look. The link to the product brochure gives you specifications, gives you certifications, gives you how it's listed. That's all there for you to review. Should you need to forward that to somebody if you're in the specification end of the ecology of door hardware. Talks about finishes. You're going to be able. This is obviously the 689 finish. You'll be able to do it in 691 dull bronze, 690 statutory bronze, 695 like a dark Duranodic, 696 gold, 693 black. That's all available. You can do plated finishes as well. 605 polished brass, 606 satin brass, 611 bright bronze, 612 satin bronze, 613 oil rubbed bronze, 618 bright nickel, 619 satin nickel, 625 polished chrome, and 626 satin chrome. It's obviously going to really relate to the steel arm that you're going to get. Main arm plated. This will be plated, those architectural finishes. This is going to be sprayed. This is always aluminum. Okay, so when you buy that sprayed or that plated finish, it's going to be the arm, which you'll see. And you do, of course, when you open that door, that arm is what you're really going to see, because obviously the track is stationary, the door closer body is stationary inside of the item that it's installed in. The next page of the product brochure gives you the legend by which to order the material. Very simple and straightforward. ITS96 with an INV after it will tell them that you want it to be inverted. Size of the spring, hold open or non-hold open. Brackets if it's important. If your frame's not reinforced, you'll certainly want that. in all your finishes. So it's very simple and straightforward to order the item. After that, in the product brochure, goes on to just show you applications of how everything is installed. And if you study that, if you take time to study it, you'll see the correlation where it never calls out, how you can have an ITS96 installed on a door thinner than, it'll say 2-inch min, is what it's going to say. We'll give you the, we'll show you what the track brackets look like. We'll also give you dimensional properties so that you can determine beforehand if it's all going to fit. We'll also give you the chart by which you can install this material. Okay, and the chart size selection chart, it's called. Your 96 is for interior doors only, 2 foot, 2'6", handicap compliant, 3 foot. Your 2.5, your interior or exterior, you'll see how the chart runs along there for those applications. 2.6, 3.0, 3'6", not handicap compliant anywhere across the board for a 2.5 model. And that really exhausts all of the product brochure that's there. Okay. Now, there are, below this video, in the extended description, links to all these things. All of the data that we've really just discussed in general, it's all there. So no need to go over that again. You're going to get with your unit installation instructions, and it's literally a packet. They include every possible template that you can potentially use on a single door, and when you really just get into the installation instructions, it's 2 pages. And frankly, it's 2.25 pages. It's not even 2 pages. Very simple and straightforward. It's really the template that you need first. What's the door made of? What's the frame made of? Go to that page. And really what you're going to see there, if you look at the link below this video to the installation instructions, you simply have to route the door and the header to account for the physical dimensions of what you're fitting onto it. It's really just that simple. When you're doing, the part that's less obvious is that on the push side of the door, you have to make, what I'm trying to say is, on the push side of the door, there's really just a small amount of additional required machining that has to be done. So, just a very crude drawing. The body is going to be, this is a cross-section of what the door would look like if it's a wood door, or any door actually. The door is going to come all the way up here, but you're going to machine it to fit the body in. But on the push side, you have to cut across or cut part of the face of the doorway so that you can make an accommodation for the arm to slide or to go through its motion from being parallel to the door and header to being not parallel. When the door opens, that body is going to move, the track's going to stay where it is, and what keeps those 2 pieces connected, of course, is just the arm. Now, machining for a closer like this is really going to be, it's going to involve, A, knowing where physically to fit it, or pardon me, knowing where physically, how far over to mortise the thing in the top of the door. That dimension is always referred to starting from the vertical axis of pivoting, which is the center line of the hinge, or the offset pivot. The center line of that hinge or pivot is the vertical axis of pivoting. That's the dimension that's important because it's the part where the door is going to articulate as a reference point from. You need to know that dimension. Once you know that dimension, you're going to be able to see in the drawing, okay, well, this is how far over everything has to be. The template that you're going to use for your installation is going to be dependent on what body you have, 1.3 or 2.5. What's the composition of your door and frame? Is it wood door, wood frame? So in this case, aluminum doors, steel doors, those are all very simple and straightforward. If you have a wood door and a wood frame, very elegant choice to use concealed closers and wood doors and frames, by the way. It's going to look and I flip to that page in the manual, or the packet that you're going to get, you can see there on the left side that 3 3/4 inch dimension. All right, that's super crucial to know. 3 3/4 inch dimension is, and when you study this, and you need to study it very carefully, the first one's the hard one. Everything else after that is easy. It's basically telling you 3 3/4 from the vertical axis of pivoting to where your mortise is going to start for the body. It's going to then tell you that your mortise body length is here, which is 1 25/32, over to where you'll exit for the body. Then what you'll have down here, it's telling you the prep. Oops, the lights went out. And we're back. Will tell you the prep in terms of how long 13 and 15/16 to fit the body in. It's also going to tell you how wide to make everything. It will also tell you how deep to make everything. So in this scenario, what's the distance from the edge of the body? That's your reference point. There you go. Now you got your first point. You can mortise the length of the body. You can mortise the width of the body. You'll know the width and length of the plate and how thick it is. The only other thing you have to do at that point is, once you have the cavity and you can fit the body physically in the space, make any adjustments, squaring out corners to fit it, is you'll have to cut away the face of the door again. There's a little bit of paint in the arm, and I don't have a mallet to tap it on, but the point will be illustrated. This arm has got a slide, and when you look at the prep as shown here, you'll take note that the door goes all the way to the header, less that 1/8 of an inch margin, but over here it does not. So it's cut back so that this is cut out level all the way out to the face of the door. So your router is going to breach that inside face, or the push side face of the veneer, so that it's flush with this. Then you're going to have your door stick up a little bit over here, and your 1/8 of an inch margin between the header and the top of the door to account. Now, looking at the rest of the template, and by the way, if you have any questions on this, my experience and I've machined for everything, every piece of hardware, whether it's just a cylindrical lock or it's olive knuckle hinges, overhead stops, concealed vertical rod exit devices. In my lifetime, I've done everything. And what I've learned is that it's as simple as this. Study the template. If it's your first time, just study the template. Do reality checks. If this is this, this must be this, and double check the dimensions. It is very, very rare to find a template incorrect, or that's super rare. It's more, the template's not incorrect, but what I like to do is physically measure the hardware to make sure that it matches the documentation. Items get manufactured, maybe there's variance. Double check before you machine your anagray veneer fire rated wood. Well, it wouldn't be fire rated, forgive me if it was a hold oven. But before you machine your expensive wood, metal, aluminum doors, when you look at the rest of the template and you study it, all the dimensions are there. It's always all there. One nice thing that they give you is dimensions for the screw holes, and while generally people, I think, will get the body installed and then mark their points and pre-drill the holes, it is really nice to double check them with your measuring device. The favorite device in the world for doing this sort of work, anything technical, is the caliper. Tape measures, sure, no problem. You want to be outrageously exact, use your caliper. That's one reason that I own a very nice caliper, not something you'd get at a residential hardware store, a big box sort of store. So the rest of the template has nothing left over that needs to be discovered. Now, the ITS96 model deviates from some closers because you don't need to mortise, pardon me, you don't need to prep that dimension from the vertical axis of pivoting to where the body starts based on hold open, because that is handled via the hardware. Let's move on. So we've got our body, and the dimensions that you're going to have in the drawing are going to match all of this. Okay, nice quality item. Now the track I showed you earlier. Now we had first talked about the ability of it to have a dead stop. That's accomplished by 3 pieces. Well, actually 4, but 3 pieces. You've got this slide block, this aluminum piece of material that's going to literally slide in. Let's just put it there for right now. You've got this heavy-duty piece of sponge-type material. I have no idea what it's made of. That's going to slide in down here. Then you've got your spacing block. That will also slide in down here. It's going to look like that. Okay, now that's relatively spongy. I can pinch that a little bit and you can get the idea how it's a dead stop. The one thing, of course, that we're missing is the screw that when you insert it in here and you bottom it out to the bottom of the track, it will set the dead stop point. So you can put that anywhere from, I believe, 80 to 130 degrees. Okay, get your door open to where you want it, set the dead stop. That's all there is to it. Now, the standard packaging is going to include what's called a slide block. If there will be something in the future that you may have to replace on these closers, it's probably the slide block. We sell lots of these. Enough use and enough abuse. This is the part that's going to let go first. That slide block obviously is going to slide into the track, and that's what's going to move as the door opens. It's obviously connected, the round portion down here, okay, via the screw that is included. You're going to get 2 screws. One is going to be for the track to arm. The other will be for the arm to the body. Okay, they're very obvious when you go to put them together which is which. They cannot be confused. That round one is going to fit down in that hole. The fatter one, the one that's smaller with a very flat head, that will fit on top of here as it connects to the body itself. Did I get that right? Yes, indeed. It will lock down real nice and secure your installation completely down. Okay? Just making sure that I get that threaded down to be sure that it's the right screw. It's perfect. Also, what you're going to get is, before we get to the hold open, you will get those little trim plates should you need them. You may not. If you're going to mortise this up, you might just mortise it the hard dimensions, manually square out your corners and fit the track in nice. If you want to run it long, you can, because you've got those caps here that are going to finish off the look as I had illustrated earlier. Just give it a nice finished look. You will obviously then get screws for attaching the body to the door or frame, the track to the door or the frame. You're going to get wood and metal screws. You will get Allen wrenches for everything to set not only your to tighten your bolts down, but also to make the adjustments on your latch and sweep valves, and of course your spring as well. There's nothing else on the body you have to touch, and that's another hallmark of Dorma. They really make it simple. After you invest time studying all the paperwork and then you reality check against it, you say, boy, that's quite elegant the way that they designed that. Your 2 valves here and then your spring. That's all you're going to touch on this. Now, I mentioned earlier about the hold open. The hold open is comprised of this clip, a modified slide bracket, and then a bolt, and then an Allen wrench to install it. The bottom line is this. You see this little raised area here? When that slide block goes in the track and this roller pin seats on top of that little notch, that is what is going to create your hold open position. Okay? So it just will click like that. Now, you can disable the hold open by pushing this up and then sliding it over. So you can make it, you can have it hold open or non-hold open should you need by adjusting this portion. The one thing to know about this is both of these pieces have arrows on them. It's harder to see the slide block. It's here. The arrow has to point away from the hinge when you slide those pieces into the track. It's that simple. Nothing else to think about it. Okay. So, in summary, we're going to be working with a door closer that can handle wood, hollow metal, aluminum. That's going to handle handicap and non-handicap environment doors. It's going to do so in an elegant way where it's all concealed. You'll be able to handle spring size regardless of 1 through 3 or 2 through 5, non-hold open and hold open. You'll be able to do different finishes. You're going to be able to do so in such a way that is relatively inexpensive. I don't think that this closer costs a lot of money for what you get out of it. And I have sold these to people who I know have these installed in applications well beyond grade 1 million cycle installations. And again, the only thing is the slide block. The vandalism is really why these go, or outrageous volume through the door. This piece will fatigue or crack. I've got some universities that will buy these 2 dozen at a time because the doors get abused. That's the bottom line. I only mention it because we sell a lot of these, and it's not because they fail. It's because these closers are capable of limitations, in my experience, well beyond what they're tested to, outrageously beyond. And the thing that seems to fail is the real cheap thing. The good thing is the expensive thing doesn't fail. That's the good part. So if you know that you're going to get an outrageous amount of volume, it's a university, school, bus station, things like that, I'd buy a couple of slide blocks myself. If you search for Dorma slide block, you'll find it on our website. I'm marginally, significantly, not marginally, I'm very partial to Dorma. I am familiar with much of the products that they do at a general perspective. Their electromagnetic door holders, their pivots, their lock sets, both cylindrical and mortise, and of course their door closers and exit devices. I like Dorma. I've got a good rapport with their technical service people. They're excellent. Every time I ask a question, on the spot with a great answer and in a very pleasant way. Much of what Dorma sells is made to order, so prepare yourself for a lead time. The other side of that coin is much of what they sell that's common, we stock. The ITS96, it's in stock, ready to ship. If you have any questions on the Dorma ITS96, concealed door closer, or any other Dorma product, please do feel free to reach out to us. And if you need help with machining, feel free. I'd love to help you walk through a template before you know the saying, measure twice, cut once. Thank you very much.